Well, here we are. We made it to the moonwell at last. For some reason I expected an actual well. Yes, in the middle of the forest. Or something with a few bricks at least. Something built. But the pond looks perfectly natural. Water is crystal clear. You can feel it, right? When the full moon rose, this place woke up somehow. It started feeling like a magical junction almost. And the walk up here wasn't too bad. Steep, yes, but I thought it was further away. And the return journey will take less time downhill. So, we can come here regularly if we want. Let's see what we get out of it tonight. The view is nice as well. You can see the mountains all around, the silver orb of the moon, the emerald green leaves, and the dark blue sky. A night for magic. Shall we get started then? I just brought a very small cauldron. Small amounts, yes. The potions I plan to brew tonight. We don't need a lot of them. And one is purely for personal use. Each batch will fill 1 bottle, or maybe 2. This place is too remote for batch cooking. Maybe I'll just leave the cauldron here for next time. Yes, I brought bottles as well. Or you did, in fact. They're in the backpack I made you carry. Thanks. So, we need water from the moon well, of course. And light the fire. All right, everything is ready, but The water needs to simmer before we can start brewing. We have a few minutes then. There are 3 recipes I'd like to try out tonight. And then we'll see if Aunt Mildred was right. If potions actually are more potent when brewed here, under the light of the full moon. I can well believe it. It was about time we came here, now that we got our bearings at the shop. How long has it been since we opened for business? A month? 6 weeks, you say? Has it really been that long already? And the locals have gotten used to buying their potions from what did they call you? A Knotwalker, right. They have stories then, fairy tales, old folklore about walking trees, or living men shaped out of wood. Were they scared of you? Not for long, huh? That's good to hear. I don't notice these things as much as you do, since I mostly brew in the back. And when I visit the village, people are almost excessively polite. Yes, I do suspect they're a little scared of me, but they do buy my potions, so it's all good. I actually expected it to be more difficult in such a small village, compared to the city, I mean, and that the people here would be less used to diversity, more wary of someone different. Maybe they just see you as part of the weirdness that comes with having a witch in town again. When I transferred your spirit into this new form, I know we don't talk about it a lot, but I hope you are content. I didn't want to take another's body. I didn't want to lose you either. I wanted you to live as yourself, with all your memories. So, a tree it was. I'm glad you think so. And I'm glad you chose to come with me here. Apparently, I'm not the first to attempt something like this, since there are stories. Knotwalkers. I might look into them. The water is boiling. The first potion I'm making tonight is fittingly called Moon's Embrace. According to Mildred's recipe book, it helps heal emotional wounds and calms the heart. It releases grief, sorrow, and fear, negative emotions that no longer serves you. It helps you move on. Best check the recipe. Water from the moon well simmering. That's done. Crushed starflower petals. They only bloom at night, and that's when you have to pick them. Some had survived in old Mildred's herb garden, unkept as it was when we arrived. I've had the time to try a few. A sprig of dream shade. Pitch of moonstone ground to powder. One drop of dew from a spider web collected at dawn. What? I am indeed up at dawn, sometimes, even if it's just because I haven't gone to bed yet. And nectar collected by night bugs. 3 drops, but not yet. It's added at the end. Not supposed to boil for that long. Threads of silver leaf. Yes, threads. You can actually separate them into a soft sort of fluff that can be spun into very thin threads. Kind of like linen, but these are far too fragile to be made into regular clothing. It's mostly for alchemical use. It needs to simmer until everything becomes translucent, and stirred clockwise now and then. Recipe doesn't say how long it takes. You always want to know the time. Why? We'll just have to keep an eye on it. How much do you know about the moon? Did they worship her in Windcrest? They did where I grew up. I'll tell you a bit then, since we have to wait anyway. The moon, Seluna of the Vale, beautiful and dangerous, with moods like the tides, and a memory that stretches beyond time. She governs secrets, spirits, dreams, and the liminal. The in-between spaces, where magic is the most potent. comforter of the grieving and keeper of forbidden truths, patron to witches and seers, and alchemists, yes. Her shrines are often found by a source of water, a lake, a stream, a pond. You can leave white poppies there as a sign of worship or simply respect, or silver coins, owl feathers, or glass shards. I am surprised there is no shrine here, but perhaps the moon well itself is enough. Many believe that Seluna's powers waxes and wanes with the moon, but that's not true. It's her mood and inclinations that change, not her power, not her strength. What you want to ask of her should determine what phase of the moon you choose to commune with her. Seluna's domain stretches not just across the night sky, but also into the realm of the dead. Sometimes people write unspoken confessions or messages to departed loved ones on a piece of paper and burn it when the moon is dark. Like with any other offering, the smoke will reach her. Even if she was not a patron deity of Windcrest, you must have heard some of the stories about her. Ah, yes, the mortal prince. Seluna once loved our mortal prince, and he promised to remain chaste as a sign of devotion to her. He broke that vow, and she turned his lands into a forest of silver trees where time stands still. Some say the prince still wanders there, unable to die. The gods can seem cruel, transforming old lovers to stars, or birds, or some beast of the wood, but divine justice might very well go beyond our understanding, and transformation can be a form of immortality, which is probably the closest we can get to the divine. It is also said that when a child dies too soon, Seluna cradles their spirit in the moon's curve until they are ready to move on. So that's another side of her. I think the potion is done. What? Oh, right. The nectar. 3 drops. 1, 2, 3. The color changed to a sort of cool lilac, and it shimmers softly. Very pretty. I'll bottle it. Filled one bottle exactly to the brim. Time to refill the cauldron. Next up, I wanted to try this potion called Shadow-Walk. It allows you to jump from shadow to shadow. Not so very immense distances, but as long as you can see the shadow and it's big enough and not too far away. Yeah, it has some limitations, but it still has many practical uses. It can save your life. You can get away from danger immediately, or cross a wild river without a bridge. It also hides you somewhat. You are harder to see as long as you keep to the shadows. I've brewed this one before, on several occasions. It's not from Aunt Mildred's book, but I want to see if it's stronger here, if you can jump further, or if the effect lasts longer. I experimented a bit with it when we lived in Talorin. Alchemists do try their own potions, you know, if they can. I drank the Shadow-Walk potion outside of the city, just past the boundary stone. It seemed safer that way. What did it taste like? Nothing pleasant. It was like drinking cold smoke, and immediately I felt it. There was like a stillness washing over me, like the hush of a gentle snowfall. I felt insulated, and my heartbeat grew faint in my own ears. It was like I faded, like I was less corporeal than before. Yes, like I was a shadow myself. A pair of dusk lurkers passed by me on the forest trail, no more than 5 paces away. One paused, sniffing the air, but they did not see me. My scent, my sound, my shape, all was dissolved. My breath left no trace in the cold air. even the crunch of my boots on the road, gone, and I could look at the shadow and will myself to be part of it, and then I was there, a stone throw away in a mere moment. I could step out into the sunlight, but to jump to a shadow, I had to stand in another shadow already. I experimented a bit, but the potion didn't last long. It felt like the effect was burning away when I stepped into the sun, and it diminished with every jump. Soon enough it faded completely, and the world found me once more. Alright, for this one we need some shadow moss. It grows on the roots of the acacia tree. Dried, yes. I'll just sprinkle in a few pinches. How I know it's enough? I just eyeball it. Imprecise. A pinch is a pinch, or a dash maybe. And the essence of nightshade. Yes, the potion is a bit poisonous. You have to be a bit closer to death to travel through shadows. That's why we also need to sprinkle in some dust from an old grave. I've had this for a long time. It's also from Talorin. Need it for recipes now and then. This isn't the only one. And some night fern spores. Then mooncap ridges. It's just a mushroom, silver grey in color, hence the name. And then I draw the sigil of silence above the simmering water. Thalen, vor, thar. See how it darkens. And finally, I add a black feather. Doesn't matter what bird it's from, as long as it's black. When the potion goes completely black and the feather sings of its own accord, it is ready. Last time it took maybe 10 minutes? No, not quite that long. 8 perhaps. But the ingredients need some time to develop and bond. How long it takes can vary from time to time, so it really is better to watch the potion than to watch the time. You know, I've been reading my aunt's journals, and I've been able to piece together something interesting, bit by bit. There were hints, here and there, in her entries, about a certain Sir Roderick, the one that showed her the moon well. No, I didn't bring the journals. We already had enough to carry tonight. But I remember the gist of it. Aunt Mildred seems to have been exceptionally talented. She pushed boundaries. She tried things that I was always told was not possible. She tried to find a way around all the usual obstacles. To what end? I don't know. There is nothing in her journals suggesting she had some specific goal in mind. Just practicing alchemy, always trying to learn. She did travel a bit, now and then. A few times a year, she would leave for a week or two to visit a city, participate in some guild meeting, or just to shop. Things she couldn't get here. She mentioned buying the transformation book in Nevarion. You remember the book, right? We found it when we first came here. Yes, the first night in the cabin. When we started to do the inventory, one of the books we looked through was called From Frog to Prince, Transmutations of the Living. I guess she just wanted to try it out. But I also suspect that she might have been lonely. However it was, she took a frog from the small creek outside her cabin and actually managed to reshape it, or transform it rather, into a man. And that was Sir Roderick. Was there something unusual about this frog in particular? Who knows? There are stories about curses that transform, and divine transformations, of course, usually as a sort of punishment, like Seluna and her mortal prince. But I highly doubt that Aunt Mildred undid someone else's transformation in this case. He was probably born as an ordinary frog. Yeah, I was just as surprised as you when I realized that Sir Roderick was a frog, originally. No, it was not like that with you. I trapped your spirit and gave it a new vessel when your human body was dying. And it was very difficult. I don't think I could do it again. Aunt Mildred, on the other hand, didn't move a spirit from one body to another. She reshaped the body itself, and the soul was probably reshaped with it. I don't know. It shouldn't be possible. It was far more complicated than anything I could have done. But then again, that's exactly the kind of thing Aunt Mildred would do. She comments in her journals that Sir Roderick still retains some frogginess, as she calls it, and she wrote that she found it quite endearing. When he got excited or annoyed, he kinda croaked. He loved just sitting in water and jumping in puddles, and he could jump really high, and his eyes remained wide and slightly golden. Apparently, they spent many years together, although Roderick also travelled, and he learned how to use a sword. I doubt he was actually knighted. They just made up an identity for him, would be my guess, and adventurers do travel through these lands from time to time. Some of them probably have been knighted for helping some ruler or noble. What a life he must have had, from an ordinary frog in a creek to a human knight and adventurer. Look, the feather is sinking. It's done then. And the potion is almost as black as tar. The last potion I want to brew tonight is called Resonance. It invokes visions, showing us memories stored in a place or object. This one is from Aunt Mildred's book. I'm testing the recipe. It will be the first time I try it, although I did not pick it randomly. If I drink it here, tonight, I can potentially learn a lot about the moon well. Mildred's diary entries were kinda vague about it. Sir Roderick found the place, and potions brewed here under the full moon are stronger than normal. That's pretty much all I've been able to find out about it. And they seem to come here often, Mildred and Roderick. Hopefully, this potion will reveal more. First, I need to add dust mint leaves. These are fresh from the herb garden. They are more potent when fresh. Dust mint only grows in the shade of older trees. It helps draw subtle hidden memories to the surface. Its scent calms the mind for clearer visions. It is also used to better remember your dreams. We also need some petals of white morning bell, a rare flower that is said to only bloom where something was once lost. I don't know if I believe that, but I found some on the shelf in the back room, so I brought it. It opens the potion up to emotional resonances: grief, longing, devotion. Then we need some teardrop resin from the crying oak. Look, it's a translucent golden sap. Really beautiful color. It holds on to emotional imprints. Slow to dissolve. It should prolong the vision. Those are the plant ingredients. They need to simmer for just a few moments. If it is dangerous? No. At least, I don't think so. But I know my aunt took risks, and her abilities were beyond mine. So I understand your worry. But I will drink it, and when I do, I will simply lie down and let the vision wash over me. If it takes a while, it would be nice if you could cover me with the blanket we brought, and feel free to sleep a bit yourself. At least you don't have to worry about the cold. It is strange how a place, the soil, the root and the stone, can hold echoes of the past. Think of all that could have happened here. Right here, where we are sitting. And the only thing that separates us from those events, those people, is time. Now, I just need to do 3 more things. Stir the dust, bind the thread, and kindle the memory. The dust, soil from the place whose secrets I want to unveil. A thread of wool, and I make 2 knots on it. One for the present and one for the past. And to kindle the memory, a living voice, the recipe said, and it came with a short rhyme. Echo that sleeps beneath the ground, unwind your thread, reveal the unfound. By breath and voice and beating heart, I seek old truths that this place holds part. Old dust, old stone, reveal what you keep. Stir the still hours and wake what sleep. By thread of time and echo's grace, let memory bloom in this quiet place. All right, here goes nothing.